Hello everyone. Today I'll talk about the newest addition in GitHub Copilot, which are agents and agents while doing Copilot edits. Agent modes will soon change the way developers work in their editor, and as such, we will also see that agents will also come in different IDs. Right now, we will see this in VS Code as well as VS Code Inside. But while I do so, I'll also cover some of the Copilot edits which has now become GA. I'll also show you how agents take Copilot edits to the next level in terms of accuracy and coverage. We also know that today's insider build isn't perfect, so welcome your feedback to improve VS Code and underline agentic technology as such. So you see here, it's a Copilot metrics viewer screen. It's a very famous application which is used to track the productivity of Copilot. And as part of this, what I would like to do is I would like to do few changes in this application. Again, I'm not aware of the application, but I like to add total number of users, total number of active users, and total number of engaged users. So I like to add three different tiles around it, again without much knowledge, right? So I'm in Copilot Edit, and I actually have a prompt which says, okay, add three tiles, first for active users or total users, then active users, and as well as engaged users. So while I do so, I actually I have bought all the relevant files into the working set, and I ask Copilot to make the changes. So Copilot analyzes the code, and then it tries to kind of make the changes to the files. While it does these changes, one important thing to note that it also gives a view of the status of the changes while it does, right? But while it does the changes, it does forward, so it does not go back and make any additional changes. It always does the changes in a forward manner, right? Now, as you see, right, the changes has been done, and these are the changes. Now I can always go back and look at the change set, that what changes has been done, right? And pretty decent, these changes has been done. And I'm kind of thinking that, okay, now let me go ahead and test these changes after doing a small review of what exactly the changes has been done. An important thing to note here is that, again, I am not aware of this application landscape. Vue.js is new to me. Even the way I'm running this actually is a new application. So now, okay, I still go ahead and start this application. And while I do so, I also ensure that there are no compilation errors and all of those. And within minutes or within few seconds, the application is up and running. The important thing which I like to cover here is, when I started the application, I do see that certain fields are probably not populated in a correct way, right? So once I click on this, if you see that total number of users is not right, active users is not populated, engaged users is again populated incorrectly. So while Copilot did the changes, right, it tried to do all the necessary changes. However, there is a bit of error which I am seeing. So what I'll do is, fine, I'll go back to Copilot Edit and try to kind of redo some of these changes, or ask Copilot to fix the changes. So again, I go back to Copilot. Now I ask Copilot, okay, you have made certain changes. Now there are still some errors, which is the total number of active users, or engaged users, or even the total number of users are not populated correctly. So why don't you go ahead and make the changes? I'll give you the same set of files, right? And analyze the same set of files. Go ahead and make the changes. All good so far. The files have been analyzed. The changes are being currently being made. And while it do so, again the same thing which happens is, it will analyze everything, it will make the changes, but it will probably mm, keep on going forward as and when it makes the changes, right? And that's what you will see here. Again, once I put this prompt give this prompt to Copilot, it again analyzes the changes, and it also analyzes what changes it has done in the past, and it gives a great view of, okay, while it generates the edits, what are the status of these edits, what are the progress of this edits while it is making the changes. So interestingly, what we saw, that it made few more changes from the past changes, where it added few lines, it kind of removed few lines. While it added few lines, I'll come again, accept all of these changes, and I'm done. So this is where I would say, okay, I hope these changes have been done. So this is where edit comes in. So multiple file being changed all at go, with single or multiple iteration, it actually makes the changes. But while it does it, it actually keeps a forward looking, or it keeps on forward while it makes the changes, right? So now what you see this, yes, the fields are populated, the total number of users, active users, engaged users, they are correct from my understanding so far. Yes. And this is where Copilot did in couple of iterations. It did, I have to give couple of iterations, but it did. Let's understand what agent does in Copilot edits, right? And this is quite important, because agents has changed or will be changing the way edit works. Again, for that, I go and get into agent mode. It'll open up a new session. This is VS Code Insider. I am an agent mode, and I'll add the same set of files and the same prompt which I had given to the previous Copilot edit sessions, right? I give the same prompts here as well, right? uh, so couple of interesting thing, this agent mode is capable of iterating on its own code. So while you see that the initial analysis, the initial set of events or initial set of analysis by Copilot is pretty much same, but it'll still try to iterate on its own generated code. It will recognize errors and fix them automatically. Even it can suggest terminal commands and ask you to execute them, right? It also analyzes the runtime errors and self-healing, certain self-healing capabilities that you will see as part of this whole iteration, right? So again, the files are being changed, right? It is changing the dashboard page, it is changing the metrics page, change the viewer page. Now what you will see, the interesting thing after this, what, so this is same what Copilot edit also did, right? But interestingly, after this, it is validating the changes that has already been worked upon, it has been generated, right? And it validates the changes, it checks the files, and interestingly, it figured out or realized that there are certain errors with the changes, right? It went back and kind of tried to analyze errors, and then what you see that, okay, it adds few more files, it has removed few more files. Interesting. And this is the next level, right? I mean, it is like this is where the agentic AI comes in. That I will do this. I'll have the agent do this. Agent will figure out the mistake. Agent will decide, okay, I have made a mistake. I'll go back, and the agent will go back and fix this again. So all of this again in a single window, in a single iteration, without me bothering or a developer bothering that, okay, whether the changes are right, whether the changes are wrong, so on and so forth, right? So it does multiple iterations. It is like I'm doing my code, I'll figuring out, I'm reviewing the code again, I'm coming back, I'm testing the code. So all of these it is doing, and towards the end it realizes that it is giving a summary of what all file that has been changed, whether it is complete, whether the test should pass. All of this it has analyzed and given you, right? So interestingly, this has not been the case when we did this whole with the Copilot edits. Now another point which I'd like to highlight, when you go to the chain set, right, in the chain set you will see that it has more number of files that Copilot edits has changed. So in the first iteration, Copilot edit had changed 3 files, and then in the next iteration, when I actually tried to tell that, okay, there are a few errors, it went back and changed 2 more files. But with agents in Copilot edits, it is actually figured out, okay, it first changed 3 files, and it realized I have to change more and more, and went back and forth, and actually it identified that 2 more files needs to be changed. Eventually it changed all the 5 files, and that's precisely why this has been a I would say different and an interesting way to look at AI, agentic AI on GitHub Copilot. All said and done, now what I'll do is I'll open up the application, I'll run the application, execute the application, and within a single iteration, you see that all the fields are correctly populated. Now it's a complex application, not a simple application. I myself don't know where this I had to make the changes, right? All of this I have done with agentic AI in Copilot edits within just 5 to 5 minutes, which essentially would have been taken for me at least days to do this. So that's the beauty of agents, right? Because even better, you can catch your own errors, which means that you are freeing up the developer's time by copying pasting from terminal back into chat and from chat back into terminal, right? So this has now given ability to infer additional tasks which are actually not specified but also not necessary for the primary request to work, right? So with all of these, this now has been a great segue for developers to be more productive with agentic AI built in of right on their IDE with GitHub Copilot in action. That's all pretty much. Feel free to review this, give us the feedback, let us know how you feel, let me know how you feel, and happy to take it back, and looking forward for more additional comments. Thank you, have a great day, bye bye.